It's really important to understand that all I have to do is pull those two notes back out and I've got pentatonic again. So if you've heard me talk last Friday and then on Monday about the transparency idea of being able to see different things at different times, I want to be able to come back out to pentatonic at any time, but then drop back into diatonic whenever I want by using Facebook. Let's see, why have pentatonic? Because pentatonic gives you a unique sound. Remember, the misconception you can have, if this makes sense to you, is that it's not just about having all the notes, because if we had that mentality, we could just play chromatic all the time. We could just play all the notes all the time. The trick is the transparency thought process, that you've got different notes that when played together, they sound different, right? So when you play these notes a certain way, they sound a certain way, because music isn't about theory. Music isn't about scales. Music is about using all of that information to create something that sounds like music. That's the hard part, right? Is trying to figure out how to take the information that you have and convert it into something that sounds musical. That's the trick. So pentatonic has its own sound. When you take away the notes of the diatonic, you get, like I said earlier, for me it almost sounds like kind of a Middle Eastern thing when I play more pentatonic. See? Where when I play diatonic, see? I can get different kinds of sounds with that. And what I'm doing right now over this pad, this sound, you can record a loop or whatever you want, or just find a jam track or whatever you'd like to do. But the most important thing is that when you're learning how to play scales and you're learning, you're going to practice with a metronome to try and increase speed and technique and all those kind of things. But please spend some time just playing the scale and listening and listening to what it sounds like when you play. I remember, and I'm not saying this is absolutely accurate because I really can't remember the quote, but it was a Satriani thing that has always stuck with me, where Joe Satriani was talking about when you practice, if you're practicing soloing, if you're practicing scales, from a technical standpoint, that's perfectly fine. But if you're trying to practice from a color standpoint of making your solo, making your solo sound more melodic and interactive with the chords, you have to have chords underneath to play to. Otherwise, it's like practicing basketball without a basketball hoop. You know what I mean? You can bounce the basketball all you want, but you really need the hoop to be able to experience all of the elements to get the basketball in the hoop. So if you think about it, when you start practicing this sort of thing, you really want to have something underneath you so you can hear what that sounds like, feel it.